This is the first Tuesday of the month Waupaca City Council meeting.
Welcome to our regular scheduled City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 2016. I do call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sandy, could you read the clerk's open meeting statement for us?
This meeting and all other meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And also take roll for us.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Steve Hackett.
Here.
Lori Chestnut.
Here.
Paul Hagan.
Here.
Alan Keeland.
Here.
Scott Perchatsky.
Here.
Dave Peterson.
Here.
Paul Mayo.
Here.
Chuck Whitman.
Here.
Jillian Peterson.
Here.
And Eric Olson.
Here.
10 present. We have a quorum.
Consent agenda. We have a few items on the consent agenda. No additional items. Unless you would like to see any of those items moved to the regular agenda, I'd be looking for an approval of that consent agenda.
I move for approval.
Second. Motion by Hagan, second by Keelan, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Regular agenda. Again, no additional items on there. What you see is what we have for the night, unless you have any changes that you would like to see on that. Again, we'd be looking for an approval. Motion by Olson, second by Dave Peterson, that we approve the regular agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. The biggest part of our meeting tonight, of course, are announcements and correspondence, so we'll hit that right away. We have a proclamation to acknowledge and honor the Winchester Academy for a quarter century of service to Waupaca, and I've asked Dick Bidwell to read the proclamation for us. Dick?
Whereas Winchester Academy, a lifelong learning organization, has served the Waupaca area for 25 years, and whereas Winchester Academy has presented over 600 programs ranging in topics from protecting bluebirds to understanding Bach, walking the shores of Lake Superior to sailing across the Atlantic, deciphering the Affordable Care Act to spotting the signs of early dementia, and hundreds more. And whereas all the programs of Winchester Academy puts forth are presented free of charge to the public, and whereas scores of Waupaca citizens have voluntarily served on the Winchester Board of Trustees over the past 25 years, hundreds have sponsored the cost of individual programs, and many local musicians, scholars, civil servants, business owners, teachers, and professionals of all kind have performed, lectured, and presented to appreciative audiences. And whereas the popular Monday night Winchester Academy series has attracted thousands of people over 25 years to Waupaca's vibrant and accepting downtown district. And whereas Winchester Academy has partnered with a variety of groups and organizations, including but not limited to the City of Waupaca, Waupaca School District, Waupaca Arts Community, and Waupaca area churches, in an effort to promote inclusion, promote understanding, and accept diversity. Now therefore, Brian Smith, Mayor of the City of Waupaca, has acknowledged the outstanding service provided these past 25 years of lectures and learning programs, and wishes to congratulate Winchester Academy and its Board of Trustees for making all of Waupaca a more enlightened community. He, on behalf of the entire Common Council of the City of Waupaca, has declared Monday, May 16th, 2016 as officially Winchester Academy Day and affixes the seal of the City of Waupaca to this proclamation.
Awesome, thank you. Dick, if you don't mind, yeah. Well, first of all, I asked him to read it because our voices are very similar. I usually do that. And maybe you could just give yourself a little bit of a plug on the event that's happening on May 16th?
On May 16th, on the front lawn here from 6 until 8, we will be having a public gala, open house, to celebrate our 25 years here in Waupaca, with musical presentations from the middle school band and from a couple different musical organizations from Waupaca High School. There will be refreshments and just a good time, and y'all are invited to come and enjoy, and if the weather does not cooperate, but it will, but if it doesn't, everything will be over at Trinity Lutheran.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Good luck. And thank you, all the Winchester people. It's been a great relationship that we've had with the city and the whole community, so we appreciate that. Moving on, we have a presentation of a certificate of appreciation to Ben, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Paul, I'm sorry, Paul. Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed it. Okay. Pronounce his name for me, though. Wait. Benchwall. Okay, and he's been with the City Police Department for 5 years. He's not here tonight, but we'll make sure that Detective Sergeant Hosel gets that to him. Also, we have a presentation of certificate of appreciation to Aaron Jensen for his 5 years of service to the City of Waupaca. Aaron, you want to come on up? Hard to believe it's 5 years already, isn't it?
No kidding. Goes fast.
I was surprised better with the agenda.
Yeah, I bet you were. There you go. Thanks. You have the ability to make a speech if you'd like to.
It's been my pleasure.
Gotta like that. Okay, and then also we have a presentation of certificate of appreciation to Paula Reedy for her 15 years of service to the city, and I don't see Paula here, so we'll make sure Peg will get that to her. All right, let's go to another proclamation. This is the Municipal Clerks Week proclamation, and I've asked Henry to read this one.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a proclamation provided by the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association designating the week of May 1 through May 7, 2016 as Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs and professional organizations, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas it is the most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Municipal Clerk. Now therefore, I, Brian Smith, Mayor of the City of Waupaca, do hereby recognize the week of May 1 through May 7, 2016, the Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to all municipal clerks and staff for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent. Proclaim this third day of May 2016. Mayor Brian Smith.
Thanks, Henry. And I think we could pull out that also. Henry and his very able assistant Sandy, who keeps us on the right line here. Much appreciated. Next, this is our third meeting in a row, but we have Meet the Candidate. We have Ms. Colleen McCoy, who is a candidate for Waupaca County Clerk. Colleen?
Thank you very much for having me tonight. Many of you know me But for those who don't know me, my name is Colleen McCoy, and I hate to say this, but one of my high school teachers is also on your council.
Hard to believe who that could be.
Yeah, hard to believe he also taught my son. So, I am the Town of Lynn Town Clerk, have been for 10 years. I am the only certified municipal clerk that is running for this position. That entailed a 3-year course through the University of Green Bay and the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association, which also entailed over 270 hours of continuing education in order to be certified. I also attended the Leadership Waupaca County, which put the bug in me to run for a higher office. They develop leaders for the future, or present and for the future. I'm also the chair of the Wisconsin Towns Association Waupaca unit, and I'm treasurer for the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association. I'm also on the finance committee with the Municipal Clerks Association, and I'm also very honored to be on the mentoring committee for the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association. So that means that other clerks that step into this position and don't realize what they're getting into, I'm just a phone call, an email, away to help them through any problems that they might be having. I am a grandmother of 2. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old boy. My son Chris is 41, but what keeps me busy at home is my 120-pound Neapolitan Mastiff that if you came into Jmar, you would have met her. So she has gotten a lot bigger since they closed Jmar here in Waupaca. But I'm here tonight to ask you for your support in my candidacy to run for the Waupaca County Clerk. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's move on to the next section, which is dealing with public input. If we have anybody in the audience or council members or staff that would like to speak on a non-agenda item, an item that's not on our agenda tonight, if they would like to, please step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your discussion to 3 minutes or less. Anybody? Okay, let's move on then to new business. This is dealing with the tuition reimbursement agreement for our Director of Public Works, Justin Behrens, and Henry is going to set this up for us.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'm here tonight to request your approval to make an investment in one of our key department head positions. Justin has put forward a request for tuition reimbursement. We do have a policy for tuition reimbursement, but I felt given the nature of the request and the fact that not only does the city need to budget for these items if they're approved, Mr. Behrens does as well. He needs to kind of know where his financial situation is going into it. In the packet, I've attached our tuition reimbursement policy, and then an agreement that I have had our city attorney look at and review, and he provided some input, and I made some changes based on that. But this is sort of fashioned off of what the police department has done in the past years, where they have committed to train a police officer. They put a lot of time and effort, energy, and dollars into bringing an officer along, and for them to leave, right away has been in the past a challenge. And so this is sort of a page out of their book to say that if you support this recommendation, that Mr. Behrens would stay employed with the city 5 years beyond his graduation date, which would be in 2018. I don't know maybe it's best if I answer any questions. I hope the memo was pretty straightforward. I tried to line up the cost. I can say without hesitation that every one of these courses is directly related to his work as Director of Public Works. And so they in theory, are eligible for tuition reimbursement. And I don't know if you have any questions based on this request?
I don't have any questions, Henry, but as much as I think Justin is doing a good job, and I like Justin, I don't think the city should be responsible for paying for $40,000 for his education. If we wanted those things for the person that filled that job to have those things, then they should have hired somebody with those things, not all of a sudden throw a $40,000 price tag at us. That's my personal opinion.
You know, I'm sure that's a fair point. You know, as somebody that was on the interview panel and participated in the recruitment and selection of this process, we did advertise and were very much interested in a candidate that held the certification. And as we came through the process, this idea was discussed of the desire that he had to get his PE. So it's nothing, and again, there's others in the room here that were involved, but that was nothing new to us, at least at that point in time. And we have made an investment up to this point. I did share at last month's meeting his training regimen, and so we're making an investment in an employee. And I don't think this is an unusual practice in the private sector, and I think if you read up on the younger, I can say that now, the younger generation, they look for things in the workplace that just aren't necessarily compensation. I think if you make this investment, you're going to get a deeply committed employee that you know, will be with us a long time. And you know, we budget some training dollars. I will be, you know, to be forthright, they're not at these levels, but some of these dollars are budgeted anyways year to year, and so it certainly is an addition, but we bringing it forward just so we know for budget purposes kind of where the council wants to be with this, and so he can plan as well.
Henry, for the job description that was done in August of 2015, there was nothing in there about having a master's degree or pursuing that. You know, it comes down. You said that it recommends engineering, but with it being so fresh, why was that maybe not in there?
Well, I can tell you in my circles that I run, there are two really difficult positions to fill in local government right now, and we've been very fortunate to fill them. One is Justin's position, and the other one is finance director. There are just not a lot of them floating around, and the ones that are come highly qualified, and you got to compensate them. Okay. I picked up on a cue from a headhunting firm that said that they're all over the country, they're having a problem filling the DPW position if you require the PE, because you're just not going to get it. You're going to have a hard time filling it. And as beautiful as Waupaca is, and we've got a great organization and a very high functioning city government, I'm biased of course, you're not going to attract a lot of people. We had, I'm not telling Justin anything he doesn't know, but our two leading candidates we could not land. And they had the PE, and they were not, we could not bring them on board. So that's kind of why that job description was tailored that way.
And then the other question I would have is that this ruling was in 2001, and I thought everything was being updated as time went on. And it says may. You use the word may be up to 100%, and you're asking for 100%. And I just wonder if that is something we should be looking at. That's a terrific amount of money.
Well, I can tell you when we did update the handbook, we left this section untouched because we thought it was important. I can tell you that I can probably count on one hand the amount of requests that we've gotten through the years, and I would say most of them, if not all, have been in the police area where we've had a couple officers go after a couple criminal justice degrees, but they were sort of, okay, one course at a time, and then somebody come back in another course. So we have an employee here that has a vision, you know, a goal to attain, and he's applied and he's accessing tuition reimbursement program. And it's you know, from where I stood, I didn't think it was genuine to just do it course by course and just do it administratively, because we need to budget these dollars and you need to know up front what this is. So that was the judgment I made, to be, you know, upfront about it. So, you know, there's a lot of literature out there on, you know, they call it, I'm not sure I like this word, but it's you know, you know, plannings for, you know, sustainability of your organization. There's a lot of us that will be retiring in the next 10 years. And so there's a lot of discussion in the public sector to make these kind of investments. You pick out people that you think could really be good leaders and advance things, and you bring them along and you make investments in them, in their development, growth and development. I would put this in this category. Okay. Justin's is young, as a young man yet, so he's got a lot of work life left in him.
I have worked for 2 companies in the past that provided tuition reimbursement. One of them offered straight 50% for passing grades, and the other one had an incentive program that gave a 100% reimbursement for an A, 75% for a B, and 50% for a C. Now, in a graduate school, a C would be a flunk anyway, so that I don't know that we want to reimburse for a failing grade.
Right.
But I just offer that perspective, that perhaps we want to tailor it a little bit more as an incentive.
Also, I did check around about other master programs, and some are like $2,500 a year, and you're not given the money until everything is completed. And there's many different ways to go with this, but I didn't speak to anybody who had, like, you know, 100% tuition. They want their people to vest a little bit in it also, to give them that fulfillment. Well, it'd be like a college student getting invested into your career.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, they're investing their time, of course, and there is going to be some costs that aren't going to qualify for reimbursement. It's tuition only. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't know the range of those. I can't tell you for certain, but. Yeah.
And I did note that it's not any work time that would be down. It would be purely, okay, on the computer.
Anybody else have any other comments?
Because that was my question about, it's basically online, right? So that he doesn't have to be missing work plus reimbursed after that.
I think Justin will have a little more information on that, because I know he's been talking with those folks in Madison.
Yeah, it's 100% online. It's a 3-year program, and pretty much everything's tailored to the working individual or working professional. So they have, when they have required get-togethers online, it's typically at night, in the evening, or on the weekends.
Scott?
I guess along Al's lines, I guess I'd like to see us revisit this a little, maybe in more discussion about percentages, you know, some of the employees' share and the city's share. This kind of got thrown at us right here tonight, and I guess I'd like to maybe explore that and have that in a policy as opposed to the 100%. That's my perspective.
Well, again, it's a policy and it's a guidance. It's a guidance document. You can see what, you know, we're not following the policy in terms of length of service. I mean, you know, you could get your head in a, you know, we're all wrapped up around this one, and how would you, you know, use the time? So the 5 years felt like that was a reasonable, at least, you know, starting point to respond to it. Those potential concerns, but this is a guidance document, so I think you're free to do whatever you feel you want to do as a board.
Other comments? Paul?
I was on the interview committee, and we interviewed, Henry said, two other people that had PEs, and they were our top choices for, among other reasons. Because of that, we talked with Justin about his lack of engineering degree, and we made it clear to him that we felt that was very important, and that we would support him. We didn't get any details of the support, but we would support him in his efforts to achieve that accreditation in the future. And he's stepping forward now to do that, and I think it's a good thing to support him in his efforts.
I guess my point was, I'm not dissuading him. I just was kind of thinking there should be a little different split.
Sure.
And so if I, if we come down to a vote, it may be because of that.
I agree. I would like to see a different possible percentage split. I think it's great that he wants to do it, and but we're also, once he's finished, I'm sure we're going to revisit his compensation and fairly compensate him for having that degree then as well. So, kind of factoring that in, I would be more comfortable with a 50% split, and then obviously compensating him appropriately once he's finished.
I think Jillian made a good point I didn't think about, but once he does get the full degree, are we obligated to pay him at that full price, or does he just go with a 1% raise or 2% raise like everybody else does? Jump to the scale. I never thought of that.
Totally up to the council at that time, and to assume that that's what's going to happen would be very difficult to say that at this time. I mean, we hired him as our public works director. We paid him a little bit less. We increased his amount that he's on probation from the 80% pay up to the 90% pay. But, that was fair compensation. I'm sure Justin, he took the job. He must have felt it was fair compensation too for the public works position. He's really just, as Paul said too, I sat on that committee too, obviously, as an appointee of the mayor, and I agree. The emphasis was that we would like to see him continue his education, not only from the standpoint of we thought it was valuable to have a PE in that position, but also once he has that, he's going to be able to save the city more money too, because there's things that he's going to be able to do in-house that he can't do right now, that he needs a PE to do those things for him. So, I mean, that's an added benefit that you have to that. If I can, unless you guys have other comments on that, I think it comes down to, in my mind, it comes down to three things, but there's probably 100 things. But it comes down to, first of all, you think it's valuable that he takes this education? If you say yes, then number two, do you feel that he should be compensated for that? And if you say yes to that, then there could be varying percentages. It could be either 100%, 50%, 75%, or maybe something on a scale like Alan said, which I think is a great idea, to tell you the truth, to give him a little bit more incentive. Knowing how smart Justin is, I can't believe he won't get A's anyways, but I think that would be something that we should discuss too. And the third thing that we have on here too, do you think it's important that we make him have a commitment past his graduation that he continues his employment with the city of Waupaca? So those are the things that we're really looking at, and there's many variables to that. So if you would like to make any kind of motion and you get a second on that, we can certainly vote on parts of this and then put it all together if you'd like to. Or if you'd like to just make a motion on the whole thing, that's okay too.
I think we should break it into at least two separate motions. One which would address the issue of tuition reimbursement, and the second one would be the employment agreement, and whether we ask for some amount paid back if he leaves before 5 years, something of that nature. So to that end, I would make the motion that we do approve a tuition reimbursement program for graduate study that reimburses 100% for an A, 75% for a B, nothing for a C or less.
Okay, we have a motion by Keelan, and this is just part of it now, remember. Do we have a second? We have a second by Mayo. So again, does everybody understand the motion, or do you want me or Alan to repeat it? Sure, go ahead.
Do they do it more like grade point average? When you say A, I mean 4.0 are we saying, or is there 375 and above? I mean,
That's a good question, and the way it worked in the company that I worked for, it was by course. So it was pro rata on the number of credits and the grade that you got. So if it was a 4-credit course, and you also took a 3-credit course, you got an A in one, B in the other, it was split accordingly. That's an A, that's the same as an A. I mean, yeah. Right. And it's, again, I emphasize that it's for a postgraduate study, that is, not for a bachelor's degree or associate's degree.
No, this is for his PE degree.
I understand that, but I'm saying as a general proposal here, we're talking about future employees going to graduate school also, are we not?
Well, we are,
Or is it
although I think each one's going to be handled differently, but yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. But I understand you're setting a precedent here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Any other,
My
Dave?
comment, as long as we're discussing, is if he agrees to the 5 years, I think that has quite a bit of bearing on whether I would go for 100% or 75% or whatever, you know. I think if we lock him in for 5 more guarantees, he's got 3 years to do this, that's plus 5 more, that's 8 years. If he agrees to that, I have no problem with 100%.
Well, he's agreed to the 8 years.
Yeah,
All right.
I see that, so that's why I'm probably going to agree to 100% too.
Yeah. So, and you're right, Dave. I mean, if we get to the point where we say 100%, but then we reduce the number of years, and you might change your mind on voting on that then too. I get it, yes. Any other discussion? Anybody else? Any other discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Chuck Whitman,
Aye.
Steve Hackett,
I'm gonna vote no right. Just not.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
No.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
I'm going to vote no now.
Jillian Peterson, and Alan Keeland.
Aye.
It's me.
I'm sorry, Paul Mayo.
Aye.
6 ayes and 4 noes, motion carried.
Okay, Alan, you're kind of leading this, so if you want to keep going.
Well, if we want him to stay with us for 5 years after his graduation, if he decides to leave for other than sickness reasons or, you know, family emergency, I don't know, perhaps there should be some sort of reimbursement program in place to reimburse the city for the investment that we made in him.
It's there.
Okay, I guess I missed that.
No, it's all or nothing.
Oh.
What was reimbursed to him up to the point in time that he may depart, everything reimbursed would have to come back to the city if he leaves within the 5-year window.
Okay, and I was thinking of prorating it, but I guess all.
Well, that was actually an idea that we discussed, but it seemed like, well, anyways, I was thinking probably had more of my city hat on at that point in the discussion. And then I know Justin was very concerned about, you know, the sickness issue, or, you know, leaving for no fault of his own, that he wouldn't be penalized. So that was something he pushed to include in here.
I just jumped in. What if for some reason he did something really stupid? have to relieve him of his job.
Still owes it.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Any other discussion? Okay, so is it your understanding then that once we vote on this, we're done? Or then did we just vote on two different items within this and then we need to vote on it in its completion?
Yeah, you don't have a motion yet for
Okay,
the
if we do
5-year,
that.
but if we
Okay.
do that, yeah. And I'll be willing to make that motion then as written, as you've outlined it, Henry.
Okay, we have a motion by Keelan,
Second.
second by Mayo, that we include the duration as, it's actually the 3 years that he's in school plus an additional 5 years. And he would have to stay employed with the city for that full period of time, otherwise he would have to pay 100% of that reimbursement back.
Now this
Okay,
is.
hold on.
I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, that what everybody understands? Sorry, Lori, go ahead.
Okay. This is just for Justin, or this is for future use?
Well, it's just for Justin, but I think we might be talking a precedent here in the future. Obviously, each case is going to be discussed separately.
Mayor, can I add something? Justin's a little bit unique. Again, I was on the selection committee. We made it very clear to him that the expectations were that he would strive for his PE. That was an expectation that we clearly set out for him to do, and that was part of what we communicated for him, and he's following through on that now. So that's a differentiation as compared to maybe some other employees that we hire.
Okay. Any other discussion?
So the year is actually 2023? He's going 3 years to 18 and then 5 years beyond 18. True?
Number 19?
19, so,
20.
yeah, I gotta look.
5 years after he graduates, or is it?
Summer of, it's 19 is when he would graduate, so 5 years from there.
Okay.
It'll be
2024.
Well, just to make it clear.
Any other discussion? Sandy will call the roll.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Lori Chestnut,
Aye.
Alan Keeland,
Aye.
Chuck Whitman,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Jillian Peterson, Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
and Steve Hackett.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Let me ask you, motion carried on that. Attorney Hart, do we need to make another motion, or will this cover everything that we're? Okay, all right.
That's another question. What if tuition were to skyrocket in a year or two? Are we,
That's covered.
so we're,
was not keeping it. Says that.
Well, we know they froze tuition for this next biennium, so we know next year it's not going up. And my guess is that they're gonna, again, I can't predict, but it's likely not to go up, but, you know.
If it does go up, though, he understands that he'll have to pay the difference.
so our maximum is 39,000.
Yeah. Mhm.
30,000.
30,000.
30,000.
If it gets an A.
30,000 if he gets an A.
No,
Is that how that was?
That's not what I understood.
No,
Okay.
it says,
100% for an A.
both the city and employee understand that this agreement remains binding in terms of payment by employee and reimbursement by the city in the event of a tuition increase. So if it goes up, the way it's written now, it goes up, we're still gonna honor the reimbursement.
You can,
No, it's too late now.
no, it's not.
Okay, anybody else on this? Motion did carry. Good luck to you, Justin. We know that you'll do us proud here. I think it's important, again, not that it makes it any easier, because it's all city money, but make sure that we, am I interrupting you guys? That it's important that we understand that the funds are coming from the general fund and the water and sewer funds, because he is the director of all three of those departments. So you won't see all of it as tax dollars. Some of it will be coming from the sewer and water funds also. Okay? Anything else under new business? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Next is license report number 1315. This is an operator's license. That's on page 80 of your packet. Looks like there isn't any issues at this time, so we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve license report number 1315.
Second.
Motion by Hackett, second by Jillian Peterson, that we approve license report number 1315. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. I think that's it for tonight, so we'd just be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I would make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Dave Peterson, that we adjourn till our next regular scheduled meeting, May 17th, 2016, 6 p.m., subject to call. Paul, we almost had to wait last time because you weren't here.
Falling down on the job.
Yeah. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. We're adjourned at 6:42 p.m. Thanks, everybody, for attending and watching. Have a great night, safe night. Go Brewers.
You too.